More than 50% of Black women ages 20 and over have high blood pressure and don't know it. I was one of them. Tonight's episode is dedicated to the work that my friends over at the Release the Pressure Coalition do every day to help us prioritize our health. So keep this locked, share it with a friend, and stay tuned. Let's dig into this a little bit. The World Health Organization recently actually published their first ever report on heart health. And I'm going to read what they said. The devastating global impact of high blood pressure showed that approximately 4 out of every 5 people with hypertension are not adequately treated. They showed that 805,000 people will have a heart attack this year, and that number is still rising based on the trend. Did y'all hear that number? 805,000 people this year. That's crazy. Well, all I can say is I'm blessed that I'm still here, and I'm committed to helping you wake up to the realities of what we need to do to take care of our heart health. We can't have that, right? We can't have these statistics. So today I have invited a very special friend, my girl Taj of SWV, who knows all about heart health. And we're going to talk about protecting her heart and her family. So first, let me welcome you to Detox Living, where we provide you with tips, truths, and testimonials to power your toxic-free living. I'm your host, Coach Jessie, fibroid survivor turned health activist and founder of the holistic health platform, thedetoxnow.com. We are a provider of holistic health supplements that help combat the nutrition and health disparities that lead to chronic disease such as high blood pressure, reproductive issues such as fibroids, endometriosis, and more, and altogether lower life expectancy rates. So I'm very excited to have Taj join me. I'm going to bring her on now. Again, invite a friend, share this. The silent killer. People who are in your circle, you may be dealing with high blood pressure and not know it because there are no symptoms to look for. Hey, beautiful.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Oh my God. You always look so good.
Oh my gosh, thank you. It has been a whirlwind of a day. So if I look good, I appreciate the comments so much because, honey,
the day has been daying. It's been daying on you.
Daying, yes, yes.
Well, first of all, thank you for taking the time. And I know that, you've had a busy schedule today and you have a busy schedule tonight. So I really want to jump right in, right?
Okay.
First of all, we know you shut the summer down with the summer block party, which was right on the heels of your Bravo show. And how are you, coming out of that? How are you?
I'm actually really great. I'm really great. The one thing that I could tell you I did, and I wanted to make sure I did while I was on tour, I cut out sugar. You will be very proud of me.
What?
I did not have sugar from July 13th until September 24th for my husband's birthday. I was going to have that cake. I'm sorry.
Wait, Taj.
Crackhead gave up sugar.
While you were on tour, you cut out sugar?
I cut out sugar. I did.
I'm so proud.
I know. I said crackhead gave up sugar.
Girl, I am like, cause we didn't listen. I remember jumping in on a live, and you had a now later in your head, and you talked about how you're a real, thing.
Weak. I was weak.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I am beyond impressed. Y'all show my girl some hearts. You know, when you
Woo-hoo!
have like she has been doing great. She does our water fast, our 14-day water fast. At least look, she ain't playing.
And this
She
is
ain't
collagen, BCAAs, probiotics, and
she ain't playing.
colostrum.
She
I
ain't
drink
playing.
that every day.
See, she ain't playing. But sugar has been, her self-reported
My
weakness.
nemesis. I
Yeah.
don't
But
drink, I don't smoke, I don't go out late, I don't do anything. But I will jack up a pack of now laters, anything with sugar in it. I'm gonna sneak it from people because I don't want to share like everything.
But you did it. You did it. How did you do it? But how did you do it on tour though? Because that's like even harder because they always have all that stuff and crafty. And how did you do it?
I had to make up my mind. One thing I realized before we left, while we were in rehearsal, I wasn't tired, but I was bigger. Whenever I eat too much sugar, you can always tell I've gained weight. That's my nemesis. My blood pressure fluctuates, my
Right.
weight goes up, everything. I decided I needed to look my best on tour. We're all in our 50s, and somebody
Looking
told me stop
amazing.
saying my age.
Girl, please
Dalvin, he said,
say it and say it
I'm
proudly because
proud
you
of
ain't,
my age. But he
please.
was like, stop saying your age. You're timeless. And you're dating yourself if you say your age. And I'm like, I get it. But I'm so proud to say I'm 52 because what I saw when I was growing up, that was 52.
Girl.
I'm definitely not. So amen to that.
Amen. Nah.
But I
So,
wanted to look good on tour. So I
and
just
you were
decided the tour didn't.
rocking that Jay Bolin, them outfits, them fits were crazy. Shout out
Baby.
to Jay Bolin.
And you cannot have sugar when you're wearing his clothes. So I gave it up because I
Listen,
wanted to be at my best on tour. I gave it up.
well, you know what? Now here's the deal. If that sparked a revolution in your life because your blood pressure had to be better before
It went
because of it.
down.
See, like just because you said, you know what? For me, I'm gonna make and at the end of the day, you made a decision for yourself and said, you know what? I just want to look my best. I want to feel my best.
Feel my best.
I want to feel
Yes.
because also you had to have all the energy to do those shows.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Everything. I carried all of my food with me. Now I did eat craft services, but I would eat the clean food. I didn't do any of the bars and the candies. I let all that go. I bought my cereal, my protein shakes, my own snacks. I made sure I was prepared so I wouldn't be tempted to go off the bandwagon.
That's it. Well, you just said something that was really important. You prioritized yourself and you provided what was needed, right? You made sure you had what was needed. A lot of times we will say, I can't because of somebody else, right? I can't because they won't have this, or I can't because it's hard. Well, how hard is it to be on tour, right? To be in the most of kind of stressful environments where your sugar addiction could even be more triggered,
Yeah.
right?
Because there are gas stops with the best candy ever.
Those gas stops are the worst. They have every candy you could be thinking about. And
sometimes I didn't even get off the bus. I was like, I know me.
The rules on the road, it's like you change the rules on the road. Well, that's on the road, but when you're living on the road, you can't do that.
Yeah, no. I did everything I could to stay on track because I knew my husband's birthday was coming also. I knew that I was going to celebrate him, and that cake cost way too much to not eat any. So I was going to get some of that $1,700 birthday cake.
Wow.
Exactly. Can I get a piece?
So let me tell you something. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the recent report that the World Health Organization just came out with. They just did their first ever hypertension report, and the impact they measured hypertension globally, and it was crazy, right?
Wow.
What was more crazy about it is that not just that people had hypertension, but that 4 out of every 5 people with hypertension were not treated, right?
Oh,
So that is the most devastating part. The number said it was like the expectation is 805,000 people Americans will have a heart attack this year. And that number is
oh my
steadily rising.
God.
That number blew my mind when I heard it. 800,
Yes.
that's crazy, right?
That is scary. That's scary. And the people who are not being treated, is it intentional or is it a healthcare crisis that's really adding to the problem?
So it's a combination of, number one, leading factors are access to care, right? But then there's also not knowing our numbers, right?
Mhm.
Not going to the doctor about it because it's not something that we necessarily monitor. I know, in 2020, I developed a brain aneurysm, which was actually spurred on by unchecked blood pressure during the pandemic. High blood
Wow.
pressure. I didn't have high blood pressure, right? Like when I went to the doctor, regularly, my blood pressure was 110/70. It was great, right?
Beautiful. Yeah.
Right. So normal is, I'm going to pull this chart up here, right here.
120 over
Normal
80.
range is 120/80, right?
Yeah.
And I'm pointing to this because this is provided by my friends over at the American Medical Association. They're in a
Mhm.
heart health kit that I'm going to talk about that is free, that we're giving everybody
Yeah.
at the website, because the key thing is not knowing your numbers and not knowing how to monitor it at home.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Some people think just monitor it when they go to the doctor at their physical exam. But what happens in the year and you don't know your blood pressure has changed? I didn't know during the pandemic, we weren't going to the doctor really
Right. We couldn't
it
do
was,
anything.
well, it was crazy. Remember, everybody had COVID, and in New York, people were they had dead bodies in freezers. It was
Yeah.
so crazy,
Yeah.
right? So nobody was trying to go to the doctor. So in the middle of that, you had the stress of my daughters being home from school, right? You turning into homeschool teachers and you're
Yeah.
not gifted in the area.
Yeah.
I ain't not a third grade teacher. We had the economic crisis. We had the George Floyd crisis. We had the health crisis. It was a lot,
Yes,
right?
it was.
I didn't know because there are no symptoms to high blood pressure
Yeah.
until it's too high.
Right, right. I was about to say they don't call it the silent killer for nothing,
Right.
because you can walk around all your life with high blood pressure, especially if you're not having your yearly physical or any kind of symptoms, and not know. Another thing to be careful about with high blood pressure is, even if you do go to a doctor, you have to be careful about which cuff that they use.
Mhm.
Because one thing I know, for me, the automatic ones that they put on you and the machine just does everything for themselves, they never read me correctly. According to those
Wow.
things, I'm about to die because my blood pressure's up in the 200s. But when they do the manual cuff and do the squeegee or whatever it is,
Yeah, the
it's
manual one.
always crystal clear. Like, for instance, yesterday, I always go to my cardiologist every year just to make sure
Mhm.
I'm in a good, what do you
Range.
call it? Yes, a
Range.
good range.
Mhm.
And I was 116/80.
Girl,
I appreciated that. But then
hold
look
on
at
a second.
this.
Let's give you a round of applause.
Yes, I gave up that sugar boo.
Ah.
But then I went to the grocery store afterward and they had the machine there. I put my arm in and it said that I was 165/110. Now,
Now,
how is that possible?
but wait. So that brings up something else that's important, because first of all, there's a way you're supposed to take your pressure, right? There are rules to
Yeah.
it, and everybody doesn't know, and they'll think I'm just like, now when I go to the doctor, I actually say, wait a minute, don't take my pressure yet, because she's asking me all these questions. I was rushing, I was parking, I was running to get to I was like, hold on a second. And then at first, there are a couple of things. Number one, you need to prepare. Make sure you haven't had any caffeine. Make sure you haven't been, had any stimulants 30 minutes before. Again, from our friends at the AMA. This is in the kit too. You have to make sure that your bladder is empty. That has a major impact on your number. Okay, bladder and bowels. Like,
Ooh,
if
I
you
didn't know
have to
about the
poop,
bowels.
if you have to poop, it can make your number 20 points higher. Okay,
All that stress squeezing it.
it's just the impact it has on it.
That
And then the
crunch.
other thing, you also have to sit down
That's
and
what
give
I was
yourself
gonna.
five minutes, and you have to make sure your feet are flat on the
Your legs
floor.
cannot be crossed.
No,
Exactly.
feet have to be flat on the floor. Your back needs to be up against a straight, because a lot of times you'll be like this, or not even against, it needs to be up against a wall or back, a chair like this is, right? And then it says your arm needs to be positioned straight and right above your heart level, right? Sometimes it'll be like this, it'll be down here, right? And then uncrossed legs, like you just said. Keep your left feet, like your feet flat on the floor, and then back supported. And then it says rest for 5 minutes. Now, before they take the number. So think about it. I have seen when the doctor has big difference. I said, wait. And I've told them, you know what? You have to wait a minute before you take my pressure. The number's just going to read wrong. Right? So because we want you to be equipped with this information so you get an accurate reading. Because you want to know that your number is right, and then you want to know how to take it at home. So when you went to the grocery store, it may have also been the fact that you were walking around the grocery store. You might have had to go to the bathroom. You were talking to everybody, right? You probably didn't wait 5 minutes.
Stuff.
And the ones in the grocery store, they don't have a chair for you to sit on. They usually are backless. Right?
Right. And it's general. It doesn't, sometimes they're just malfunctioning. You just never know.
But that brings up a really good point, because this is why we have to have our own validated BP cuffs. Now, this is an automatic one, but this is really, really good. It's a validated one that you can use at home, right?
Ooh, and yours.
I don't care about like the brand name. This happens to be a Omron. What is it? Omron, sorry. And just like this, just press this. It comes on, and then I bet you if I'm gonna let it read it while we're doing it right here, I bet it's gonna be high because I'm doing all this talking. My arms not supporting.
Legs crossed?
No, my legs are not crossed. But let me see. I'm just talking, and I actually have to go to the bathroom. watch it be sky high. Watch. We're gonna do it.
And then go pee. Come back.
I can't do that. I only have you for a limited time.
Pee number 2.
But I'm showing you this, that it's important that this is like maybe a $70, $80 machine or more or less. But your insurance will cover it if you say that you need it. Black women, tell them, what's my number? Please. 146/69. That is not my number. That's high for my number.
It's not great, but the low number is what's more important.
The low number is better, over 69. But the point is that my top number is never that high. And I also have, I've been diagnosed with kidney disease. So my blood pressure is very, very, very important. It's a genetic kidney disease. I've had, it's from my father's side of the family. And so you have to be more actually always watching your blood pressure because of that. So getting a validated BP cuff, asking your doctor to request it through your insurance, please do it, sisters, because the statistics say that more than 50% of Black women who are ages 20 and above, Taj, we're not talking 50.
All of the insurance companies won't reimburse for it. They won't pay for it. It's certain insurance. I believe Cigna does.
Okay.
And it's it depends on which plan you have.
That's true. Well, also the health savings, they can use flexible savings or health savings, and they can also, there are things you can write off on your tax your IRS, your tax documents, your tax preparation filing, because it's a medical, a medical thing. So, but when I say that number, that more than 50% of Black women, and I keep saying it because it rocks me, right? That ages 20 and over have high blood pressure and don't know it. That's the part that rocks me. Talk to them, because they may not know like your story. Like, what does that say to you? And how old were you when you were going through your heart journey? And what happened?
Well, my heart journey, I blame on my son. I blame on him, because I've always been in the gym. Even though I didn't eat the best, my blood pressure was always normal. It wasn't until I got pregnant, and I was older. I was 34 when I got pregnant. So being I guess in
34 is still young. 34
it's still young, but of course they give us this 35. You better have all your kids or you'll go crazy. Ugh. But In the medical terms, I was later. I had my son later, and I was sick. I think I'm allergic to pregnancy because I was sick from the moment me and my
I laugh
husband
when you say
finished.
that.
I just get like the minute he finished and my son attached, it was like my blood pressure went.
Wow.
But
Wow.
and I was under a lot of stress. My husband and I had moved from Tennessee to Dallas. Um, it was a very stressful time in his career because it was coming down to a close,
Mhm.
and I couldn't eat properly because anything I ate, I would throw up.
Right.
So I was literally having to eat anything that would stay
Wow.
down. Ironically, sugar did. How about that?
What?
So I
The
would
devil
eat.
is a lie.
It's a lie. So everything happened. My blood pressure just shot up. My skin turned darker. I like literally went into nighttime. My complexion, and then my teeth went crazy. Everything.
Hmm.
Once I had my son, the day I gave birth, my blood pressure was so high that they wouldn't let me hold him until it went down to normal. I think it was like
Wow.
176 over 125. It was
Wow.
really high. But I didn't feel bad. I mean, of course, my hoo-ha was on fire because I did it natural birth. That ring of fire lasted. But other than that, I was fine. At least I thought I was. And after tons of medication, of course, they load you up with medication and bring your pressure down. I was fine that day. But like maybe a week or two after we went home and I'm there alone, I'm stressed because my son is crying. I'm going through postpartum depression.
Right.
My blood pressure just shot up again and it would not come down for the longest. So
Wow.
my blood pressure
So it
journey.
become a chronic thing in your life after that.
Exactly. Because again, my eating habits weren't the best. I would work out, but I didn't work out as strenuously as I did prior to my son because I was breastfeeding. I didn't want to damage my breast milk for my son. There was a lot of factors that went into my heart health journey that I had to learn down the line because I'm thinking this medication is going to help. My blood pressure will be fine. But the medication only masks the
Mhm.
symptoms. They don't cure it.
How did you take control of your heart health?
One of the things I had to do is realize what worked for me.
Mhm.
Now, this is the biggest problem I have because I knew what was wrong with me. Well, one of the things that would make me wrong or make me go into the range that wasn't good, and that was sugar.
Wow.
But oh my gosh, when I tell you, I can understand anybody that has an addiction because, like I said, there's a lot
Wow.
of things I don't do. There's a lot of things I do right, but the big thing I did wrong was consume so much sugar. And at one
Wow.
point, I was just like, I don't care. This is just my. I don't smoke. I don't do this.
This is
But it
my
was just
vice,
as bad.
right? Mhm.
Yes, and it was just as bad. So I can say I have gone up and down with my journey because one moment I'm like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to be better. I'm going to be better. And I would for a certain amount of time and I would always fall off the wagon. The biggest test I had, I promise you, was this trip on the road. I was
Wow.
so proud of myself because I literally ate right every day. I went
Mm.
to the gym. I literally did everything I was supposed to do. When I was on that stage, I felt like my 100% authentic
Wow.
self, and it really worked. Now, when I came home, I still didn't eat any candy. I stayed clean because I wanted to celebrate my husband's birthday without feeling like, oh, I'm going to die the next day. My pressure's going to shoot
Mm.
up. So I had his cake. The next day I had a little bit more, but I went to the doctor yesterday and my blood pressure was fine because I haven't had any since. This is
Wow.
my new journey, and
Oh my
everyone can
God.
walk this
I'm
journey
so
with me.
proud of
Yes, I want everyone to hold me accountable. If you see me with some candy, take it out of my hand. Take it out of my hand because I need all the help I can get. I'm strong, but I have my moments, but I'm definitely fighting through it. So I need all the help I can get so I can keep my heart health in complete great shape. I just need to be there
you.
for my son, for my
That's
family, for my
right.
career,
That's right. That's
everything.
right. You know, I know, listen, I know you're very disciplined because, you know, you tell us about how the water fast has been like a really powerful transformation, you know,
Oh yeah.
it's like your go-to, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Tell them about your water fast journey.
Well, I have done the 14-day fast twice.
The
And
detox now.
the
water fast,
the
y'all. This ain't
water
no
fast,
just
yes, the
anyone.
detox water fast. And it was amazing. Again, yes, 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 all of it. And my
And the
balance. Don't
heart
forget
health. I know
balance.
the heart health has been a really good one for you.
And balance. I use
Mhm.
balance also.
Yep, it's right
Yep.
here. That's the first one.
Yep. So I did the water fast the first time, and when I say it was just so easy, but like after that third day, I didn't even think about the fact that I didn't have anything to eat. The water, I was drinking so
So,
much
listen,
water.
y'all need to understand our water fast is just coconut water. It's structured water, which I drink structured water all the day,
I
with
love my
lemon
structured
and
water.
some salt. You don't need to buy no alkaline water. You don't. Let's break this down right now. Okay. Stop spending money on all that expensive water that you buy.
Right.
All you need is some distilled or reverse osmosis. I have a reverse osmosis system in my whole house, or you can do distilled water. Put you a pinch. I put a pinch of. I use the Redmond sea salt, or
Uh-huh.
you can use Celtic sea
Pink
salt, right?
Himalayan.
Yeah, you can use that too. And you put a pinch of that in here. You can add lemon if you want. I do it without any lemon, and this is all you need. You don't need to spend all that money on that alkaline water that actually can reduce the acidity of your stomach,
Right.
which needs to be acidic in order to digest your food. Did y'all hear me?
Say it louder
Anyway,
for the people in the back.
because y'all spending all this money on some little brands. I'm not gonna say the names of the brand to tell you 9.5 alkalinity water. No, stop that, please. All you
9.5
need
this.
9.5, right? Just get you some distilled or reverse osmosis water. Put a pinch of the sea salt, Celtic salt, Himalayan, whatever salt you want to use, just not table salt.
Right.
A pinch, and some. You can add lemon if you want. That's it.
No
That's all you need all
iodized
day.
salt. None of
That's
that.
all day. That's it. And let me tell you, it is truly hydrating. Truly hydrating. So that's in the water fast. It's the structured water, the coconut water, and then you also have your supplements, which include we have in the water fast. It's our the balance supplement, something you add if you want for hormone health, but it's the liver, the what else? The blood, the lymphatic, and the gut. And the key thing is these nutrients, these supplements provide the nutrients that you need. That's why Taj said she wasn't hungry.
Right.
She wasn't hungry.
Right. I did it the way it was supposed to be done, so I was not hungry. If you skip any of those steps, it may throw you off. So you have to be dedicated to the program.
You might be hangry.
Right.
You might be mad.
And you can't have kids if you're hungry, honey, because they will drive you crazy, lead you right to the pantry. So
what made it something that you regular? So you said you did it the first time, and what happened?
And I really enjoyed it. I noticed a huge difference. Amazingly, I lost 14 pounds in 14 days. So literally, my body started to work for me instead of against me.
Wow.
And it felt amazing. Like my blood pressure it almost went too low. I was so clean. So I had to fall back on more of that medication. I was taking that blood pressure.
You had to reduce some of your medication. Wow.
I was down to 3. Now I'm down to 1.
What? She had to reduce her high blood pressure medication.
Yes. And then when I finished, I just kind of eased back into normal eating, which was fine. But then I wanted to do it again. I think it was just like my inner water person was like, let's do it again. Let's do it again. So I did. And I like to do it whenever I feel like I need a good flush. My body needs a good flush. I love it. But I also drink a lot of water now anyway. I make sure I'm hydrated.
Now it's part of your lifestyle.
Yes. Especially while we were on tour. We were in amphitheaters and it was hot as hell out there. So I know I lost weight.
I'm in a sauna.
That weight off out there. But it was just so many other people on the road with us were having dizzy spells, passing out. It was so hot. So you have to stay hydrated. Drink that water, people.
Yeah. So you know what? That's actually, but don't just drink regular water that doesn't have the salt in it, like we just talked about, because that salt is very key to actually replenishing your electrolytes.
Yes.
Okay. It's really important. And there are people who, another thing I think is really important, if you wait till you're thirsty, you actually are already dehydrated. Okay.
Yeah.
So you need to be drinking before you get to feeling thirsty.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you about this is if you're okay sharing about it. You know, where were you when Damar, you know, had that collapse on January 2nd, that Damar Hamlin suffered that cardiac arrest, and how did it feel for you, you know, be having men in your life in football and personally dealing with heart health?
Mm-hmm.
Like what where were you? What was happening in your heart and mind when you saw that?
Well, as you know, I live in a house full of athletes,
Yeah.
men who play football. While we were watching the game live, and when he went down, of course, no one knew or understood what was happening. We're just thinking, oh, major concussion, get him to a hospital so he can get his mind right. But when you notice that there was something definitely more wrong than just a concussion, when you have grown men on a field crying because of what they're witnessing firsthand, it puts it in a whole new perspective. So once we found out exactly what happened, the first thing I thought about was my baby. I'm like, he's only 18 and he's taking these hits and he's loving it. I don't have to love it for him. This is his passion. This is what he's literally came out of me holding a football. So I'm just like,
Eddie had a little something to do with that.
no, he didn't. No, it was on me. So all I could think of is how do I give him information about how does he protect himself?
Yeah.
Now I know I'm driving him crazy because I constantly look at different websites and training programs, because in my mind, if he knows everything he needs to know about his position, literally perfect form and just techniques, I believe that can help him stay healthy. That's one of the things that I've been doing on my end to give myself peace of mind, is knowing that I'm providing him with things that he can use on the field that will help him avoid injury, or at least try to avoid these injuries. Nothing is perfect, and it's a violent sport.
Right.
But when these guys do the right technique, some of them can avoid injury. I mean, when 9 times out of 10, if someone gets hurt, it was an accident. It was something that went wrong.
Something went wrong.
Something went wrong. So if you can avoid that wrong as much as possible, you have a better chance of coming out walking, coming out not having to bend over because your back hurt.
Wow.
You just have a bigger opportunity to avoid major incidents. And not that this young man did something wrong.
No,
but
he didn't. He you know, but I also thought about like Bronny, you know, like, yeah, and there was like a slew over the summer of young athletes having cardiac issues.
I did not understand it to save my life. I'm like, what are we doing? What is going on? What are we putting in these young men that's making this happen? I don't know, but like I said, with Damar Hamlin, his was a freak accident.
Right.
Literally hit in the wrong spot at the wrong time, which literally almost cost him his life.
Yeah. We praise God you're alive, Damar.
Absolutely. I'm like a huge fan of him. He's Superman. That man has a testimony.
Yeah.
I would love to know what he experienced on that side.
For real, he got a testimony.
Like what it looked like.
What it looked like. Did Jesus say that? You know, I wonder, again, I don't intimately know these other stories, but like, I hope that there's a more emphasis on their heart health, you know, and making sure that they're not just bulking up, but that they're eating things that are taking care of their heart. You know, that like at the end of the day, they're taking, like you said, so much impact. So there's the technique part, but then there's the internal part. Like, okay, what do we need to do? And then the other thing I think about is when I go back to our women, right, our sisters, our college sisters, like, they're in their 20s, and most of them, what did they say, more than 50% of them have high blood pressure and don't know it.
And there are also women athletes who play, and anything can happen. One thing I learned yesterday at my doctor's appointment, my doctor was saying that the muscle, of course, your heart is a muscle. Athletes tend to have what is called athlete's heart, where their muscle in their heart tends to harden.
Wow.
It can be dangerous if these people have high blood pressure. Now, if your pressure is normal, it's just called athlete's heart, and it's just like anything, because these athletes work out 24 hours a day trying to keep their craft straight, and they're working out when they're playing these sports. So it's just like any muscle. If you work it, it's going to get bigger and stronger. So that's what's happening in general with these athletes. But the ones that suffer from high blood pressure have a higher percentage rate of having heart attacks or blood clots or anything like that that can damage their heart.
So again, to me, that is where, and that's male and female, right? Because you're saying just athletes
in general.
Right. So, and I think about that, I'm like, okay, number one, I hope that when I look at the report from the World Health Organization, that we're thinking through that more. And I think that there was an awakening, because of all of the recent trend and what has happened. I think that had to be a wake-up call for people, definitely in the athletic world. But then I think about like our just regular everyday sisters who are in college in the 20s and young adults and all that. Like, what would you say to them? You were just 34 when you had just had your son, and you would never ever thought that was going to be an issue that you would have to deal with. That right now at 50 you're dealing with managing your heart health, right? And you're winning. You're absolutely winning. You are more victorious than ever. But it's something that you absolutely have to be intentional about. Like, what would you say to women who are, at college right now in their 20s or in their, and they're like not even thinking about their heart health?
Well, first of all, life in itself is strenuous. It is very strenuous, especially in this day and age. It's not as simple as it used to be. Even with all this modern technology, we're moving faster, we're moving harder, we're doing so much more than we used to have to back in the days. So for these women that are in college, you have the workload of schoolwork, studying. If you have to work while going to school, that's more stress on you. Some people are married, some of them have children. These are all things that is causing your body stress.
That's right.
How do you minimize that? What do you do to help your body cope with all of these different things that you have to do?
Yeah.
And not just putting it on Black women per se, but I told my husband the other day, I feel like an indentured servant sometimes. The minute I wake up, it's like cook, clean this, that, this, pick up this. And then he had the nerve to go get 2 puppies. I'm like, who's going to take care of these puppies?
Well, you love them now. That's the problem. The problem is you done fell in love.
Yes. So what I suggest that
yes, we're talking
anyone
about high blood pressure. Somebody else, y'all talking about blood pressure. Yes, go ahead.
So what I just suggest is that you figure out how to include some time for you. I just think that, like when you're taking your blood pressure, you need to sit up, you need to make sure your arm is straight. At some point, you have to stop and say, this is my quiet time where I unwind to bring down that stress level so that it's not constantly beating against my body. You take a break. So it's called, what do you do when you not retaliate? What is it when you
recalibrate?
No,
restore,
and I'm horrible trying to remember things. Recuperate.
Reset.
All of it. You have to take that moment
be restored,
recuperate before you keep going on the same thing. Eventually, anything will wear down. Yeah. So we have to be aware of that. We just have to be aware that our health comes first. And if that means taking a 30-minute break, do what you have to do, because you have to go to school when you're in class. I mean, when you're in school, you have to go to class. You have to make sure you're working, because if you're not working, who's going to pay your bills?
Right.
So you have to give yourself a moment to breathe so that you can just shut everything down, recuperate, reset, and then go back to it.
Yeah. So, I love that you pointed that out, because my friends that Release the Pressure, they talk about how, part of how we're going to bring our blood pressure down and take control of our health is literally releasing the pressure of life, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so much stress. Stress is one of the number one factors of high blood pressure. Okay. It's one of the number one factors. Thank you for did you see these little reactions? They're so cute.
I did.
Stress is not one of the number ones. Cardiologists will tell you that. They'll tell you walk. They'll tell you,
walking is the best exercise.
One of the best exercises, right? not speed walking, just walking, meditating. So here's the deal. I know for, if you're 20 years old and you hear us talking about this, you think, oh, that's for them 50-year-olds. This has nothing to do with me. Stop. And first of all, that's not true. All right.
Mhm.
So don't share this with just your friends who are
Right.
in your peer group. Share this with your nieces. Share this
Yeah.
with your nieces in college. Share this with your daughters in college and your friends, because this is
Share it
this
with
is your
high
group.
school females.
High
It
school, they need
starts
to be
early.
aware. You need to
Yeah.
be aware that, guess what? The habits that we have right now, the weight, like my daughter, she's going to be upset that I'm sharing this, but she just had a meltdown because she just had a bad grade.
Oh,
And we're sitting here telling her, baby, listen to me. It's one grade.
right.
One grade. It does not define you. All right. And you will do better.
Yeah.
It's okay. Right. And I say this because so many of us define ourselves by, you know, in social media, how many likes am I getting? How many views am I getting? Right? Am I influencers? So many young people are influencers these days, right? On social, and they're building platforms, or they're entrepreneurs. And you know what I would say to you? I'm not saying to you to not build, not secure your bag and not build your vision and your business and all of that. But I would say, number one is prioritize. Put at the very top of your list your self-care,
Yes.
because
Take a break.
nothing that you build will be here if you're not here. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
meaning the vision, like you have to be healthy in order to actually see the manifestation, right? So this whole idea that I'll sleep when I'm dead,
Yeah.
no, you'll die if you don't sleep.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
You'll die if you don't rest. And that means, you know what I say to my clients is, people want to ask you to do a lot of things, and you're going to feel like in order to please people, you want to say yes to everybody. But let me tell you something. No is a complete sentence. Learn to say
I
no.
had
Learn
to learn that.
learn to say yes only to the things that are driving your purpose and your passion. Only those things that are driving your purpose and your passion today. Meaning, like, it could be something that's good, but it doesn't mean that it's your God assignment right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the right thing that is a good thing for you, but at the wrong time, because you have too many other things that you need to be focusing on right now, and you're just trying to add another thing to your bag, will kill you, sis. It's too
I agree.
much. Right. So learn to say no, and learn to say
And
no.
don't feel bad about it.
I just was about to say unapologetically, because it's okay. Because sometimes the no is just not right now. So the very
Right.
first, something my husband taught me, which I love, Taj, he says, when anybody asks him for the very first thing he says is no. He says, no, I say no right away. He says, that way, if I come back and I think about it, I say to myself, if I'm going to say yes, in order to say yes to something, I have to choose. I say, this is how I do. In order to say yes to something, I ask myself, what am I willing to say no to
Uh-huh.
in order to make room for
Yeah.
that? I don't just add, because we're used to just adding stuff on the plate over and over until we're literally
Right.
crippled. And our heart is crushed because it can't handle what we're doing. Our blood pressure's through the roof.
Right.
We're physically sick, all of that. But if we will learn to say, okay, before I say yes to something, I have to qualify that yes by saying, what am I willing to take off my plate in order to make room for this to be added to my plate?
Right.
I bet you there's so many things you'd say no to, because you look at what you're doing now and say, nah, I'm not ready to stop any of that other stuff. This thing must not be valuable enough
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
for my life. It may be valuable for you, but maybe it's not right for me.
Right. Right. Even friends and family, you have to prioritize you.
Yes,
You.
you, because it's true that a lot of people will try to make their priorities your priorities.
Mhm.
And we all want to be loved, right? But if people only like you and love you because you say yes all the time, that's the sign right there that you don't need them in your lives.
Abuse.
Or maybe they're only doing to you what you're letting them do.
That's the biggest thing. You're allowing it. Yes, because no one can make you do anything. You decide to do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're deciding the wrong decision because you don't need to do it.
That's right. That's right. So I think number one, I know that it's a lot that we've shared, and that's why we pulled together a free heart health kit for you. So
Mm-hmm.
for you and everybody and their mama, my friends over at Release the Pressure, they created this heart health kit that I am giving away
Yay.
right at the link in my bio. Is nothing. You don't gotta buy nothing. All you're doing is download it so you have this vital information. All right. Because see that? More
I
than
like it.
50% of Black women ages 20 and over have high blood pressure, and we can't have that. So we're doing something about it. We're equipping you with information so that you can say, I know how to take my blood pressure. I'm going to stay on top of it because it's a silent killer and there are no
Right.
symptoms. You know when I knew I had high blood pressure?
When you
When I found out I had a
Mhm.
aneurysm.
Mhm. I
That's when
found out when I got pregnant.
well, you got it when you got pregnant.
Yeah, that's when I found out.
So I again, go to the link in my bio. Please get it for you. Tell your friends to get it so that you have the information, because we don't want tomorrow is World Heart Day, right? Let's make it about your heart. Your heart
Let's make
means
it a super heart day.
yeah, not just your physical heart, obviously, because the heart of who you are. We love you and we care about you, and we care about you living a long, full
Yeah,
life and not dropping,
right.
being one
Right.
of those 805,000 people who have a heart attack this year
No,
because
ma'am.
you just didn't know,
You're right.
right?
Let's learn, let's educate ourselves, and let's be more mindful about what we do to our bodies, how much stress we put on our bodies, how much just damage we do when we don't look at what we're doing to our bodies.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I love that you're actually taking the time to have this conversation. I
Yeah, if
appreciate
I can help in
it.
any way.
I appreciate it because a lot of people will like say that's my business,
Mhm.
you know, and not realize, you can eat right. So, and let's be clear. So Taja's addiction was sugar, right? But
Mhm.
some of you may be eating all the right foods, you may be going to sleep, but your addiction is the wrong relationship.
Ooh, come on now. Shoot.
And guess
Let's
what?
go.
It's driving your blood pressure through the roof.
Yes, yes, I've been there, done that too.
Right? Right? So understand it's not a judgment of what the addiction is. It's
Right.
about deciding I'm going to stop being the accomplice in the story of my
Mm,
disease. I'm going to
mm,
start being the hero in the story of my
yeah.
healing, right? Like Taj did. She said, "You know what? And I'm gonna keep checking. I'm gonna just start saying, hey,
Smack
how you doing with that
it out
sugar?"
of my hand. I give everybody permission. Smack it out of my hand.
What's your addiction? I want to see what some of y'all say, if y'all be honest. Put it in the comments. What are y'all addictions? Let's keep it rated G. Let me stop. Let me see. Y'all gonna say, what are y'all addictions? Let me see what comes up in the comments. People saying you look great, Taj.
Thank
What you
you.
she did the water
Sugar.
fast. You said what
Tiffany
did you do?
Perry says sugar.
Sugar.
Mine too, bro.
Uh,
Pepsi.
she being honest. She being honest.
And now Pepsi, oh, that's about as bad as drinking lead paint.
Wait a minute. So I did a whole post about soda. It is
Mm-hmm.
scary.
Oh, I don't drink
Y'all,
soda at all.
seriously, scary. Stop it. I'm not even going to get into it. It is literally the level of toxicity that soda is. Don't do it to
If
yourself.
you can
That's
clean a car with a soda, you don't need to be drinking it. You don't need to be drinking that one.
if it will burn the rust
Yeah,
off your car.
let it go.
Let it go. All right. So the last thing I want to talk about is so I don't know if you know, but we launched something called the Prevention Daily Kit. All right.
Well,
Prevention
tell
kit.
me about it.
Yes, it's 3 preventable. It's a kit. It's a 30 second solution support for 3 preventable health issues that actually disproportionately affect people of color. Okay,
Oh.
which are vitamin D deficiency. Okay, because 78% of us are vitamin D deficient.
Yeah.
All right, because we don't realize that our melanin actually blocks the absorption of the sun. All right, so that's something that
run from the sun because we don't want to burn.
And we're running from the sun that we need more of it. The more melanin we have, the more sun we need in order for it to convert it into the D3 hormone that our body needs, which is critical to our immunity. It's critical to actually fighting tumor and inflammation, okay? Chronic inflammation. When you look at women, there's a strong relationship to women with tumors, fibroids, any kind of tumors, and their vitamin D3 levels, okay? And the other supplement in it it's three supplements. It's MASS, which I know is one of our friends, our great friends. It actually addresses chronic inflammation by boosting your immunity so high and so strong that your body now reverses chronic inflammation. It fights chronic inflammation. And then balance for our women and strength for our men, which is the hormonal balance. So the 3 preventable health issues are hormonal balance, D3 deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, and chronic inflammation. By addressing those 3 things, you can put yourself in a place where your body can help prevent so many chronic diseases. So if you are dealing with just wanting to live a healthier life, the prevention kit is great for you because it will help you to reset. If you need to do a hard reset, Taj will tell you, do that water fast.
Water fast.
I'm telling you, it'll change your life.
Yes, it will.
Okay.
Yes, it will.
And then live on the prevention kit after that.
Yeah.
If you're doing
another thing I do to help my blood pressure also is magnesium. I like to do a hot magnesium bath.
Excellent.
And you know when I drink the most water? When I'm sitting in the tub.
Really? Because of the magnesium? Are you soaking?
Not just magnesium, but the warmth of the water. It makes you thirsty. So I can drink a gallon of water sitting in the tub.
Okay. Now listen.
And I'm not exaggerating.
Something we have to say, you can, if you drink too much water too fast at the wrong time, you can actually have water poisoning.
Oh my God.
Yes. So
that hasn't happened to me yet.
No.
I'm
saying anybody in general. First of all, you put electrolytes in your water, but there have been people who've drank so much water that they have flushed all of their basically vitamins, their electrolytes out of their body. So it caused them to go into shock. So again, make sure that you're staying hydrated so that you don't have to drink too much water too fast.
Right.
That's the part. You don't have to worry about that. You stay hydrated. You see what I'm saying?
Stay hydrated.
Yeah.
I stay hydrated.
So, all right. So any closing thoughts? Because I know that I would love to talk with you forever, but I appreciate it. Any closing thoughts?
All I want to say to everyone is just to decide to love you, take care of you, be better to you. It helps. It works. While I was on the road, I got my crew, like our security and I think it was one of the other guys from one of the other groups. I got them to eating healthy with me in the morning because everyone's like, oh, that's nasty. But I got them to eat. You follow the people who do the right things and you will do the right things also. Surround yourself with people who love themselves, who want to be better and feel better and copy. Do the same thing. Start somewhere.
That's a whole word right there. Surround yourself with people who want to do better and be better and live better, right? Our slogan is know better, do better, live better, right? Because when you surround yourself with people like that, it helps you to be better. Period.
You got to start somewhere. Watch and learn. Watch and learn and do.
Watch, learn, do. Well, we love y'all. Please do not forget to download that free heart health kit and share it, please, because these statistics, we want to see them change. Absolutely. These statistics. Absolutely. It can't be that more than 50% of Black women ages 20 and older have high blood pressure and don't know it. And that's the other thing. Go get your numbers checked. Make an appointment, please. Make an appointment. Download this kit so you have the information. Because some of y'all, we just told you earlier They may take your pressure wrong at
Yeah.
the doctor's office.
Yeah.
You need to get educated so you become your best advocate, number one.
Yeah.
So you know how it's supposed to be
And
taken, all
follow
right?
the rules to taking your blood pressure. Make sure you're sitting with your legs straight, not crossed, sitting up, arms straight,
Empty your
relax.
bladder.
All of it. All of it.
All right. We love you so much. Thank you so much. I
Thank
love
you.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye. So everybody, thank you so much for being with us today. We were just blessed to have such an incredible conversation. I love that Taj is so transparent and was willing to be vulnerable with us. The website is thedetoxnow.com. If you are wanting to take a step to do better with your health, feeling fatigue all the time, feeling sluggish, maybe you're dealing with anemia, maybe you are dealing with gut health issues, whatever it is you may be dealing with, fibroids, heavy bleeding, you know you're not supposed to have heavy cycles. They're supposed to be easy. Yes, that's what I said. We didn't talk about that today, but that is what it's supposed to be like, okay? If you are dealing with any of these issues and you're looking to live a better life, the life that is your birthright, please go to the link in my bio. First of all, follow me. That's number one. Go to the link in my bio and take our free quiz. Our free quiz will then, you can save 25% off whatever solution you feel may be right. And then from there, we are here as a community to support you through your journey and to help you live a toxic-free life. All right. As I mentioned, we created this. Hey, Toya. We have created this platform and a community to support you and to let you know that you are not alone in living this toxic-free life. So we thank you. And until next time, don't forget, you're not alone. We're here for you.